Go to school. Good evening. The board has now returned from closed session and will begin the regular session of Keys Union School District Board of Trustees. 4.1, report out closed session items. We have nothing to report out. Moving on to 4.2, approval amendment agenda. I haven't seen any. Do we have any?
No, there are no additions.
That's a well put together packet, Dana. Moving on to, do we have a motion to approve as is the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
We have a first. Do we have a second?
I second it.
It's gonna be
Mike
close
got it.
today.
Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to flag salute by Mr. Green.
Everybody please rise. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Man, we are starting to harmonize.
It's because you're leading it.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, moving on to invitation to address the Board of Trustees. Do we have any? No? All right, moving on to announcements. Keys Union School District Kinder Back to School Night was last night, August 8th. Keys Union School District Back to School Night was earlier and probably still going, August 9th. First day of 2022-23 school year is tomorrow morning, August 10th. Spratling Middle School 8th grade Escape the Bus is August 12th, and that's for 8th graders only, correct? Moving, and some adults. And moving to Keys to Learning Core Academy Back to School Night, do we have that date yet?
No, and I will get it to you as soon as Jill
Oh,
provides it.
I felt like it was the 18th, but
I think that it is,
I
but
saw an email about it.
I think
but-
that's the core academy.
Okay, we'll get that information out. 7.6, Spratling Middle School Back to School Night, August 18th. We'll be cooking hot dogs, correct? Do we have enough sign up for hot dogs?
Yeah.
All right. 7.7, Keys to Learning Key Academy Ice Cream Social is August 25th. Moving on to recognition presentation, staff reports. We've read the staff reports. Any questions or concerns? All right, we're moving right along. Moving on to consent agenda items. Actions prepared for a consent calendar are consistent with adopted and approved policies of the district and are deemed routine in nature. They'll be acted upon in one motion without discussion. Unless members of the board request that an item be removed from the consent calendar, in that event, it will be taken up in order indicated on the main agenda. Any questions from 9.1 to 9.7? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll approve that.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to action items 10.1. Are we going to do this all as one, or do we need to separate these?
I believe you can do them all as one.
Okay. So 10.1, we have the 10.1 sheet in our binder, and then we have the contracts. Do we have any questions or concerns? Do we have a motion to approve all as one?
I motion.
We have a first. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Thank you for letting us do that all at one.
Yeah, No,
That was a-
because all they are is contract renewals for
Yeah.
current staffing, so.
And as normal, we can pull out anything we
Absolutely.
choose to. Moving on to 10.2, approval of new revised board policy and administration regulations for KUSD listed in 9.7. This is something we've been doing every month, thankfully. Years ago, we were behind, but nothing out of the ordinary, correct?
Yep.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. 10.3, approval resolution 22-2301 to establish a temporary interfund transfer of special or restricted monies.
So this is kind of a housekeeping for the business office. They have to, a resolution has to be passed for any time that there are transfers of special restricted funds between one fund to another. So it's all part of closing out the year, and we ask that you approve.
Raul, thumbs up. All right. Any other questions or concerns? No. We have a motion to approve.
I motion.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.4, approval of 2022-23 agreement for delegation of activities for Head Start and Early Head Start programs. Mr. Brazil?
And this is basically delegating activities and all of the requirements with Head Start for us to run the program on our campuses.
Any questions or concerns? Is something we yearly do? I don't.
Yeah, it is a yearly.
Motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.5, approval of extension of COVID-19 MOU between CSEA and district.
So we're asking, again, the CSEA have been incredibly cooperative and helpful, and they are asking that we continue on a month-to-month basis, which I'm perfectly okay with, and we're following the procedures that we've all agreed to do so in terms of a COVID-19 environment.
And I asked this every couple of months. Are you sure you want to keep doing it monthly and not quarterly, or just?
I've asked, I think I think the discussion has been that we're hoping that it'll get to that month of where we say we don't need to have it, period.
So just keep it going.
So, yeah,
I ask every couple of
I
months.
know.
All right. Any other
It's not
questions?
taking a bunch of effort, though, right?
Between the staff, yeah.
It is.
They all have to meet and discuss.
Okay.
It's usually emails, correct?
Yeah, our phone call
Yeah.
with Homer has been absolutely very easy to work with. And
So there is
very nice.
homework to do then,
Yep.
right? Yeah, all right.
All right. Any questions or concerns? Motion to approve?
I'll make that motion. then.
Got a first?
I'll second it.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.6, approval of transportation service memorandum of understanding between Houston Unified School District and Keys Union School District. And this is for sports?
For sports,
and field trips
transportation, field
sometimes?
trips. Yep.
This is a great relationship we've had a couple of years.
Yes. And the next one you'll see will be also for somewhat related is for the training that we need in order to keep our drivers certified.
All right. So we have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
We have a first, we have a second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Always, the Houston bus drivers has always been so great to ride on their buses. They treat us like their own. Moving on to 10.7, approval of employment service training contract MOU between Laura Haverly and Keys Union School District bus driving training.
Yes, and it's more and more difficult to find qualified trainers for bus drivers when they have to renew their licensing or certification. So we're asking that this be approved, and our MOU will be, it's not even a full year, it's more like 4 or 5 months of training.
And is this with Houston still too? Or is this
Not
another
directly
company?
related, she happens to be an
Yeah.
employee of Houston, yes.
So it's the same as last time, it's just a different instructor.
It's gone up, and there was the pay increase,
Yeah.
but yes.
Any questions or concerns? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.8, approval of short-term bus driver trainer rate of pay. Mr. Brazil?
And that is to approve, again, it's for a short term, for a bus driver training. We have to establish a pay scale or a pay limit for that training.
Any questions or concerns? Motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Moving on to 10.9, approval of Impact Intern Program Co-Sponsor Agreement between Keys Union School District and Teachers Colleague of San Joaquin.
So this is maintenance or an agreement between the Teacher College of San Joaquin and the district so that we may take on interns or people who are beginning their credential program, and we can go ahead and hire them. They provide the support both from the college level, from their professors. They come out and evaluate, and it's kind of a win-win for them because they're able to get some coursework in and still get some pay. So we're asking that we continue to do that because unfortunately with the shortage in the teaching profession, it's hard to find anyone, and we're thankful that we have interns, to be honest.
And we do this with Stanislaus. This is
We
the
do
first time we've done
do this with Stanislaus, we do it with UC Merced, and it used to be, oh my goodness, University of Phoenix, okay.
And so this is this is the first one for them, San Joaquin?
Yes,
All right.
yes.
So we paid these.
Well, no, they,
Yeah. We pay the employee. What they do is we agree for them to place the students in our district to get hands-on experience and get paid, and yet they're completing the coursework by attending class at the end
Gotcha.
of the day or.
I got you.
any other questions or concerns? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
We have first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.10, approval of Applegate Teeples Drilling Co., Inc., water main repair proposal and estimate.
I wish this was a good news, but it's not. We had a pipe repair that our maintenance and operations could not solve on their own with our own equipment and expertise. So I'm asking that the board approve this. It has already taken place because it was a little bit of an emergency to get so, especially with water running and us being in a drought. We didn't want to look like we were wasting water, so.
Is that the main over there by the
Like a
main
6-inch
office?
line, I think.
Correct.
I do want to add that I've seen the maintenance men in those holes several times trying to fix it themselves, and this is under your legal right to vote. You just want it brought to our
No,
attention.
absolutely. No, and I approved it as an emergency repair, but they had attempted, and I think it's been going on for quite a long time. That area was, so.
Did
it
they
just-
repair or replace the section?
They actually had to replace a portion of the piping.
Yeah.
But we were all made aware before and after.
Yes, yes.
Any other questions? Motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
We have a first, do we have a
I'll
second?
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.11, approval of Keys Union School District attendance policy.
So our attendance, obviously, as a result of many changes in legislation in the last year to even two, we really needed to update our policy and follow uniformly between TK and eighth grade what our policy was. So the administration at both KES and SMS put together the recommendations for this policy, and I'm asking the board to approve the attendance policy as revised.
Any questions or concerns? They spent the whole summer working on that.
Yep.
We have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.13, approval of revised expanded learning program, formerly ACES, salary schedule. Nope. 10.12, approval of revised expanded learning program, formerly ACES, coordinator job description.
Correct. So this is to establish a coordinator job description because we really don't have one in the program. And it's also kind of painting the way towards us being able to use ACES as perhaps how we're going to meet the requirement of spending the funding that's being made available to extend the school day for students to engage in academic activities and so that basically their day ends up being about a 9-hour day. But so we obviously, with the staff that we have on our own, can't provide that kind of a long day. So we were very thankful that in the summer we had the ability to kind of put it into play, and it went very well. And so this is kind of one of those steps to recognize. And I think, do you want to share anything about how things went in summer? I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't mean to.
We had a lot of fun. Every day was different. There is no script. And we just went with the kids were safe, we fed them, and they had a great time. And we went home exhausted.
No, and the numbers actually, yeah, the numbers that stayed after were quite good numbers, so we're pleased with it. And again, what we have to prove for getting these funds is we have to offer it. We don't have to worry about the numbers in it, although, I mean, in all good conscience, who wants to offer the program and not have kids in it? But the funding trigger from the state is you offer it. And if you don't offer it, then you can't get any of it, so.
And we're still using PAL?
PAL,
That
yep.
was going to be my
Yep,
question.
yep,
So
absolutely.
why are we choosing the description and not PAL?
Because Raul, do you want to share why we're doing that in a different?
Coordinator is the district representative, how can operate in our district without.
Okay, so they're our employee, not PALs?
Yeah, the district coordinator is our employee that oversees and represents the district,
Okay,
whereas PAL is just there for the kids.
great.
And all we're doing is changing that job description so that it indicates as such.
Yes.
And is current to what the duties that are expected.
All right, any other questions? Motion to approve?
I'll motion.
We have a first, we have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.13, approval of revised expanded learning program, formerly ACES salary schedule. This also goes back to why are we choosing the salary schedule when it's PAL staff?
Because this person is the actual representative of the district. She's employed by the district, not by PALS. It's
Gotcha.
kind of it's a bridge position in this
Didn't you
sense.
just hear Raul?
But this is a different position. So now we have
No.
two?
No.
Raul, do you want to share what your
Yes.
She represents our district, where, and Cal does provide staff for us. Right now, I think she's overseeing, is that Cal is having trouble providing staff. So this also brings up our, step one, so we can be more competitive with other programs around the county. In case we do have to get to a point where we have to hire our own staff. And then use Cal to, supplement the rest.
All right. Any other questions? Makes sense to me, Wes. Just,
Just nod, huh?
we have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.14, approval of 2022-23 CSBA Gamut Policy Plus membership. And this is all those board approvals we always do.
This is for the board policy access to the Gamut Online, and it is also for the membership for the board to be part of California School Boards Association and part of the Stanislaus County School Boards Association, which is who puts on the dinner twice a year that we all attend, or their business meeting, and sometimes other conferences and things. And you then, as a board, choose to submit someone to sit on that county board, which you elect every year.
And Gamut's a huge benefit.
Gamut is
when
huge.
someone down south does something and it alerts everybody, and we might want to do it or might not want to do it, or we learn from their mistakes.
Absolutely.
I
They really have, I'll be honest, they have a monopoly on this. They're the only, aside from large districts that can afford to have their own legal counsel that writes
makes
them for
sense.
them. So they're not cheap. I mean, we're talking $8,000, but you can't not operate without having those board policies. So.
And 3 years ago, we weren't updating them, so we were wasting money paying for
Exactly.
the service and not using it. Now we're actually using
And
it.
they have been great about working with us to get up to speed. Yes.
All right, any other questions?
Well, it's cool.
Do we have a motion?
I'll motion.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.15, approval of revised special education teacher job description. Mr. Brazil?
And that is just, we needed to revise it. Our job description for a special education teacher was very vague, very outdated. And so working with the SELPA and with our special ed director, we are proposing that this be the revised job description.
Any huge changes? Just
No, just
verbiage and,
verbiage, and I think the skills and the things that are required have changed.
all right. Any other questions?
Nope.
Motion to approve?
I motion.
I have a first, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.16, approval of anti-bias education grant program applications. Mr. Brazil?
So the state superintendent got the governor to allocate $10 million towards grants that can be applied for by any district, which are to implement programs or to bring in materials, education, whether it be assemblies, whether it be a program to address biases. And the fact is that I think we all have biases, and at times we don't really know that they're biases. And so what the grant is the minimum is $20,000, the maximum is $200,000. I wrote it for $200,000. It doesn't mean we're going to get it. And that's basically, until it's approved, it's just that. I wrote it, I sent copies of what that plan looks like, but it does not mean that
It's just a request then.
it's a request, absolutely.
Ask high and maybe get little.
Yeah, well, you mentioned new district. What does that mean? You said new, did you just say new district?
I didn't hear that.
Oh,
Maybe I did, but
I think you
You
did.
can go home and watch it on YouTube. And is that for students and staff?
it's a new grant, it's a new program.
Oh,
that-
maybe
that,
that's- yeah.
I think what's happened is we're seeing a lot of social media and issues of race and ethnicity and equity on the state superintendent felt that that was, and the legislature and the governor, that that would be funding that they could make available. I think what they realized, however, is the 10 million to serve the entire state of California is not a huge amount. So when it becomes that you have to write and it's competitive, I always feel that small districts are already at a disadvantage because you don't have a grant writer, you don't have anyone to do that. So, I mean, I did my absolute best and submitted it, and I'm happy to do it, and I hope if we can get some of that funding and implement things that our kids will be better off someday and better understanding than
Is
our
the,
generation.
is the writing, the verbiage in it saying that if you are accepted, you get the whole thing, or they reserve the right to give you a portion of what your request is?
So you indicate whether you're wanting a partial or you're wanting a full, and you have to submit an actual budget that's pretty descriptive of what you're going to use, and then they approve it based on that. So
Did
they
you
look
do-
at your
did
budget
you
and
do
say,
that?
okay, are the things you're asking what you wrote about, do they connect? And are you writing for 20,000? Because for 20,000, we expect this. And for 200,000, we expect this.
Gotcha. So you did,
rubric,
you did that? You wrote?
I did.
Wow, all
Yeah,
right.
I did. Not that I want to, I was the first to submit an application, so that could be either really good news or really bad.
Right.
Teacher's pet.
Too eager, huh?
First one to turn in your homework.
Yeah.
If it's great on a curve, maybe that's good. All right, any other questions? So is that like assemblies and
It would be assemblies, it would be, like, for example, if we wanted to.
counselors or stuff?
Counselors to attend training, administrators, teachers in the classroom, if they wanted to bring in someone or go to a conference that talks about equity, to learn about our biases, how sometimes we favor a certain group of students or males over females or whatever it is. I mean, I remember being in the classroom. Sometimes you found yourself, and I tend to speak to this side of the room all the time, and I don't look to this side of the room. I mean, there are things that happen.
Could it be as simple as,
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what it's
using black
entailed, is
in the
to
class?
allow
I'll get over it.
an environment
bias?
that's more inclusive and that kids are looking less and less at barriers of race and.
At least we know his favorites.
Well, it's because he's pointing toward you guys.
Good thing.
We used to be like this close before COVID, so. All right, any other questions or concerns? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye? Aye.
Thank you.
You really
Moving
should.
on to 11.1, ESSER 3 and facility projects.
I do, though. No, I know I do. So the facilities projects are all, they have actually reached a portion of DSA. Some of them, they've opened up the timeline. We will have to actually, I think within the next month, have fees cut and hand delivered to DSA to push through some of the plans. We are meeting weekly with our architect, and the projects are and continue to be not only the field and track at SMS, but also the additional 2 buildings or classroom buildings for KES, the entire facade of the windows in the older portion of KES as well, the replacement and remodeling of those, and also at SMS, bringing in 2 prefab buildings that have actually been purchased that are going to serve as the locker rooms for boys and girls next to the gymnasium is where they'll be placed, so that it makes more sense. And the 2 buildings that we're using that were really modified classrooms out there will be modified again and continue to be used as classroom space if we need it or as we grow.
When's that supposed to happen?
When the state says it?
Yeah, that's a great question,
Yeah.
Jeff, because then there's little projects of things like a gate that's also going to be put in to allow deliveries to come through the back way and not go through the campus. All of this is at the architects and DSA. DSA is very behind on approving any of the projects. What we're most worried about is that we have a number of projects and we have a deadline of expending some of these funds. And as we're seeing, prices of things are increasing daily. So there may be a point where we say, okay, we can't do one of these or a portion of. And to be honest, the 2 major ones are the project out on the field, the windows here, absolutely, because those are COVID funds that were allocated for better ventilation and for all of that, and then the locker rooms as well. So that being said, we just heard that there will be an 18-month extension by the time we have to expend those funds. Whether we get additional reprieves as we go along, we'll find out. I think that the government really, well, some of them might want to take money back, but I think that they are reluctant to do so. And so I think the push will continue to be that they extend the deadlines. So we're kind of, the answer to that is we really don't know when. We're hoping that it will be during this next school year, I think is what I even share on tonight's board report, but I can't guarantee that.
I do want to add that in your Friday letters, you always keep us up to date, but I like the PDF that you put in there of the updates. You always give us that information in the Friday letter, but it's easier to go back and look at that sheet, so I appreciate that.
No, and it just kind of, it's also a way that we, both Raul and I and Eric, we can keep track on, where are we? Because sometimes we have to tell them, like Krazan, for example, we needed to do a geothermal report, and they've honestly, oh, we'll get to it, we'll get to it. It's like, no, we need it, and I need it now, and this is serious, and we're not going to sit around. So there's great communication, at least in our meetings or updates every Friday. I can imagine, though, that if we don't keep on it, it's something that can truly kind of never happen, because that's just the system. It's very bureaucratic, and it's nobody really wants to make it an easy path to approving anything. So we've picked carpets, we've picked colors for, we've chosen toilets. They are going to be ground-mounted versus wall-mounted. I won't even tell you why that is, but
Eric probably knows.
Well,
Jimmy probably knows too.
Well, for unclogging is much easier, apparently.
Oh, by far.
But, so all of those things are things we talk about and that we're proceeding, and hopefully, I honestly believe that we'll get some of this stuff done by the end of this coming school year, which would be June of 2023.
All right, any more questions on that? All right, going to 11.2, Jimmy's track committee meeting update.
And I think that the update is it's really beyond the committee, because the
Yes.
committee kind of knows what we're going to do. Again, it's one of the projects that's in the plan, and we just hope to get it kind of completed as soon as possible.
tomorrow? That's what my grandson always says. You mean tomorrow? I said, no.
And Jimmy does check on me every day to see if I've forgotten about
You
it.
know. it's just-
Jimmy's out there with a shovel. He's painted it gold and he's
Painted
ready.
gold, I'm just standing out there leaning on it. Yeah.
All right, Jimmy, you have anything to add to that?
I just want to wish everybody.
Jimmy, it's not your turn to talk. It's about the track.
Oh, is that, you wanted me to talk?
About the track.
Oh,
About
the
your track.
The track. It's going to be really nice. And see, I've already pictured, this is kind of changing the subject here. We got a big donation the other day, and $16,000 from across the street over here. And I was thinking, man, we just can't thank those people enough for this kind of donation. And I said, man, if we had a nice field out there where it was all nice and green and flat where the kids are playing, a nice banner, thank you to our sponsors. And they've already earned theirs.
Yes.
Don's RV's already earned his. You know, Costco's earned theirs, and probably some other ones. But that would be a good place, just one of the places to show appreciation for the donations that they give our school.
And Jimmy came in and shared that with me, and I shared with him that not only did I think it was a great idea and a very good way of showing how much support we probably do get from a community that sometimes we forget about. And I said, you know, there's even the new facility being built over here. I would love for them to be a part of that, and as soon as we kind of know more and get a feel for them and what they do, I think that'll be a good thing. So, no, I too can envision Jimmy's field with kind of the field of dreams, but with some
Oh,
advertising.
yeah, well, there you go.
Jimmy Laser's thinking about this
Oh, wow.
field.
Is that going to be a neon
No
light?
lighting, no lights.
No lights.
All right, moving on to 12.1, superintendent report. Mr. Brazil.
Okay, so guys, this is what I have as of tonight, and getting numbers is tough in terms of enrollment. So we have, from what I have been shared with, 19 students that are going into transitional kindergarten. We have 60 students going into kinder, and we have 82 students into first grade, 71 in second grade, 79 in third grade, 75 in fourth grade, 83 in fifth grade, sixth grade 97, seventh grade 71, and eighth grade 71. So last year at this exact time, we had 712 students. As of this afternoon, these are only as good as what I'm given, we have 708 students enrolled in the traditional TK through 8 school district. So we continue to not be at the large numbers that we would like to see. However, we're keeping an eye on those. Of course, word has already begun to spread that our kindergarten classes are going to be larger, and that parents are calling and saying they don't want to have their children in large classes. I fully understand that, but it is impossible to plan until we have numbers. And I think we've made every effort to do that. And so today I sent out an email and shared with individuals that, the board directs me on what to do in terms of whether we hire an additional teacher or not. I'm employed by the board. I will do what I'm told by the board. And when that time comes that I can make a recommendation to the board stating that we need an additional teacher, then I will do so. But until that time comes, I have to abide by a budget that, even though we have all kinds of money, it is not money that is for salaries unless we are growing in enrollment. So that's kind of where we are. I wanted to share that. The charter seems to be increasing in numbers. They're probably up by 15 students. I'm not sure exactly how many, but they're also increasing at the lower grades, not at the high school level. So first day of school is upon us. We're ready or not, it's tomorrow morning, and we are looking forward to welcoming students, obviously, and staff all back already. The campuses all look really, really good. So I want to thank Eric and his staff for really taking pride in their work and making facilities look amazing with such a short turnaround when you have a roofing project going, you've got summer school going, and pipes leaking, and you're still able to get it ready for the start of school. I'm very impressed and thank them. The LCAP was fully approved by the county and is posted on our website as required. I have no doubt that there will probably be some revision to something in the coming weeks, because there always are. We'll also be forming a committee to update both our safety plan and our wellness policy. So we're seeking volunteers to serve on that, and we'll schedule meetings as soon as we have our composition of the individuals who wish to serve on them. The roofing project went extremely well and remained on time and on budget, so that's always a good thing to know. First day trainings went well, aside from some glitches with Zoom, which there always is. But we're all able to conduct all the trainings on all of the mandated stuff. It's a long day, very boring stuff, but it went through. Yes.
I have done one of those particular trainings 33 times.
It's better when
I
they're
could teach it.
better when they're in person, though, because you can have fun.
Yeah, and honestly, there's some that the content really doesn't change. I mean, it's, bloodborne pathogens.
Some of those videos were outdated the last time we had.
But it's something that for our liability insurance and to meet the mandates that are imposed on us by state, and we have to do them. And I will say, I appreciate everybody attended, paid as much attention as any of us can and struggled through it, but we got through it in one day, and I promised that they would have today as a day to work on their own campus, on each of the different sites. And again, we didn't hold it in here simply because of the logistics of having 130-some people for an entire day without very little air circulating. I did not want us, I don't think that we're quite at the point that I felt comfortable about that. And there was another reason, is prior to this staff training, we actually had a different training that was with about 14 members. And we were all going to meet at the district office, and I don't know why, but I just thought, I don't feel comfortable with us meeting in that room with a closed door, 14 of us breathing in here, just based on what we're hearing of cases. I'm not saying whether it's deadly or we should be masked. That's not at all what I'm saying. I just thought, I don't want to put us in that kind of a situation. So I didn't, and we held it via Zoom. The very next day, one of the people who was actually leading the meeting tested positive, and we would have all been in that room. So I'm just, it's not that I don't want to return to the craziness, I really don't, but I want to start school with every teacher here and in the classroom. I really do, and I think people appreciated that. So we continue to look at enrollment numbers and hope this week we'll have a better idea. It is very true that every year, that first week, kind of, you have kids show up that you didn't realize were going to be. So I'm hoping that that's a positive thing. I want to thank the entire staff for a successful and rewarding year. I think everyone is ready to get going. I think we will have our challenges, but I know that the staff and everyone involved, including parents and kids, we will work through it and make it. The MTSS, or the multi-tiers of student support, and PBIS, which is positive interventions that we're trying to impose or to put into place throughout the district so that every student knows what discipline or what consequences are for whatever the activity may be, and that they follow through the grades, that they're not different in one class versus another class or one grade or the other. So you will probably see, as you go into classrooms, a lot of posters, and they'll be out, whether it be designating restrooms, play areas, and they're kind of reminders to students as how do we behave or act in those specific areas, and it's respect, responsibility, and safety is the real key there. So and we have some metal signs that are going to be put up, but they, of course, everything is back ordered if it's something decent that you want outside so the kids don't tear it down. So as soon as those come up, then our staff will be placing them up around the campuses. Our certificated and classified staff have been working hard, preparing the classrooms and facilities, including grounds. We had new furniture even in that we were worried was not going to come in, and it came in for Spratling, because we were thinking we're going to get some of these tables, and this is how we're going to start. So I'm glad that we don't have to do that. Our COVID-19 funding maintenance projects are making their way through DSA, as I said. We've purchased the new buildings that will serve as locker rooms. And again, the major project really at KES will be those windows. I really think that will make such a huge, not only aesthetically, but it will, in terms of even energy conservation, I think it will be a very good thing. We have active shooter training coming up upon, or 2 of them in September. We've split them up because they will be done on minimum days, and they really did not want to do a full staff. They wanted us to. So, for example, KES is going to have the preschool and Head Start. We'll end the charter here, the elementary charter. SMS will have the charter there, and maintenance and operations. So we're dividing up the staff so that everybody gets the same training. And Ms. Rager, I sent you an email today about the 1 day. I'm just not sure that we'll be finished in time, so if we could switch that I don't know if it's soccer or volleyball. Okay. So that's kind of coming up. I've gone through this. It's scary, but I think it's incredibly powerful given what we deal with, unfortunately, this day and age in schools. I wish to thank our labor unions for supporting and allowing us to continue with our MOUs, and as we continue to deal with COVID variant, and also for taking some time to wait and see what our numbers look like before we talk about raises or any settlements of contracts. I need to thank the Vanderpool families for their generous donation to our school. As Jimmy has shared, it was $16,000, which will be split between music and arts. And I'd like to have them here at the future meeting too. I've sent a letter and thanked them, but I'd like to have them out and give them a little token of, as we've done before. They have steadily provided funding in terms of donations to our students for the last 5 years that I've been here, and it has increased every year.
No questions asked. We never asked for
Yeah.
anything.
And I will say, I was getting kind of ready to ask because of band, and Jimmy and I went to a lunch there, and they said, you know, if you need anything, you tell us. And I thought, man, I just don't want to, well, sometimes.
I kept telling you to ask.
It worked really well. I didn't have to, and it came. So sometimes maybe it was a positive vibe. It just did. And so we'll also, unfortunately, because of yesterday's meeting, we weren't in person. I'm going to be visiting classes and staff to deliver the years of service credit awards and to thank them for their service. We do those in increments of 5. So that is honestly all I have.
All right, moving on to board member comments. Now it's your turn, Jimmy. Now you
Yes.
can give your speech.
It's not a very big speech, but the schools look great, so hats off to Eric and his crew. They're always working hard and battling all the things that come up during the summer. I really am looking forward to all these projects, not just the track and the field, but all the projects. They're doing an amazing job on the roofs. Once they get these roofs all done, they won't be doing roofs for a while. They're doing a really good job. And just like to welcome everybody back and have a great year. And especially, we got a lot of new teachers. I'd like to welcome all of them, especially, hope they enjoy it here.
Thank you. Moving on, Mr. Green.
Well, a couple of days ago, we drove by, me and my family, we drove on the site. What's the road right here?
Ninth.
9th Street, all right. Oh, the road I live on.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Wes, you lived here your whole life. You've lived in this community your whole life, and you don't know 9th Street.
So we're driving, and I think everyone in the car kind of glanced over and saw the school. And, I have the rearview mirror, and I kind of looked, and because I know what I saw, and I looked, and everybody was gazing at the field, and it was just amazing looking. It was clean and meticulous, like somebody took some pride. And I know Eric's probably watching live on Zoom right now.
Oh, yeah.
I know he is. I just know he is.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure he knew how much we appreciate his effort and his staff. It's just amazing, and I just want to make sure that everyone knows that it caught my children's eye even. So that's how meticulous they're doing their job and how well they're doing it. So thank you very much, Eric, and your crew. And obviously, welcome everybody back to school. It's going to be a great year for sure. Thank you, everyone.
All right, moving on, Mr. Burnell.
Yeah, just, I'm kind of excited for this 22-23 year, up-and-coming year. It just didn't come quick enough. I have kids at home, so I'm kind of excited. So, but I just want to thank all you teachers, principals, that the hard work that you've done. I appreciate you. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Greener?
I just want to say I want to welcome everybody back, and I'm looking forward to the sports.
Yes. All right, thank you. My turn. Wes, we had the same thing with a kid that just graduated high school from the community. We're going fishing. We drove by Spratling. He's like, how come the field didn't look that good when I went there? So I know what you're talking about. A couple things. I want to welcome all the new teachers. And usually in 10.1, we approve a bunch of positions. And I was happy that we approved a bunch of resignations with new job duties or more hours. And I really like when we can take care of our own. And so I'm really happy that we're able to promote or move around the staff as they need to. Looking forward to a great year. Also looking forward to sports. I was happy to get the sports schedule already. So I build my work schedule around it because I go to everything. And I'm looking forward to a very fun and hands-on school year where we can be in the campus and in the classrooms as much as we can. All right, moving on to information. Next board meeting will be here September 13th. Closed sessions at 5:30, regular sessions at 6. Do we have a motion to close?
I motion.
I have a first. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.